Welcome to Mirror Mirror with me, your host, Amy Chang. This is where we look at beauty on the surface and everything beneath it, from the cutting edge science shaping the industry to the cultural and societal forces behind how we see ourselves. Each week, I'm joined by experts for deep dives, alongside unfiltered friend-of-a-friend conversations that tell the full story. Expect insight, raw honesty, and the beauty intelligence you've been searching for, the kind that lets you love beauty while still questioning it. Let's get into my story about perimenopause. Today, we're going to talk about what nobody told me about perimenopause. About a year ago, I started waking up every night at 3 a.m. like clockwork. No alarm, no noise. I would just be wide awake sitting there. And it would take me forever to get back to sleep. So, of course, during the day, I was super foggy. I was forgetful. I just felt exhausted in a way that even on the nights where I did get a full night's rest, I still felt exhausted the next day. Like there were some nights I would sleep through the night and sleep for 10 hours and I would be exhausted and forgetful the next day. Like I was forgetting simple words. It was kind of scary. I mean, I kept thinking, is something wrong with my brain? Like genuinely, I felt like I was getting stupider. That's the only word that I know for it. So I want to talk to you about my journey with perimenopause today because I think a lot of women are sitting with these exact symptoms right now. At least that's what I've heard from talking to you guys online and talking to you in my DMs. And many of you, like myself and what I was going through, have no idea what is happening. And I didn't also. When I finally brought it up with my OB-GYN, almost as an aside, like I was just there to see her for my annual checkup. And I just said to her, I was like, oh, I'm having such trouble sleeping. My brain feels like it's not working. And she immediately clocked it. She was like, I think you might be in early perimenopause. And I'll be honest, I was not prepared for her to say perimenopause because I wasn't having any irregularities with my menstrual cycle. And it just felt pretty premature. I was like, am I really at perimenopause? But part of that was I had no framework for how to think about it. The cultural script that we're given, it skips straight from like your period is irregular to suddenly hot flashes and you're in menopause. And there's not a lot of conversation about what happens in those years between and what can happen cognitively and hormonally. So my doctor was like, we've got to start testing you. Let's do some hormone panels. Let's check your estradiol. Let's check your progesterone. And the thing with testing for both estradiol and progesterone is that they need to be tested and timed to specific windows in your cycle, which meant that this was not an overnight, problem solution path. It was a process and it took about 3 months to complete, which is not unusual. It's just the reality of testing female hormones correctly because you need to test progesterone between days 5 to 7 after ovulation, which is about day 21 in your cycle, but estradiol needs to be tested between day 2 to 4. So it took us 3 months to do the testing, get the results back. But the results were really clear once they were back. It was very obvious that I am estrogen dominant and my progesterone was low. And low progesterone, according to my doctor, can be the first sign of perimenopause, not a missed period, which I think is counterintuitive for most people because they think, oh, missed period is the first sign, but it's not. Quietly progesterone starts to decline, and sometimes this can happen years before anything more obvious shows up. Okay, so we got my labs back, and then my OB-GYN was like, let's try out hormone replacement therapy, specifically progesterone only to start, and that's what we did. But I want to spend a moment here because I know that hormone replacement therapy is one of those topics that carries a lot of noise. There's a lot of fear around it, a lot of misinformation, and messaging that I think has made a lot of women really hesitant to even consider hormone replacement therapy. But the science has evolved significantly on the topic, and it's really not something to be feared anymore. So within a week of starting progesterone, I was sleeping again. My mental clarity came back. Like that fog that had settled over everything it was lifted. Like I felt amazing. But with that being said, it wasn't a one and done fix. Like over the next several months, we had to adjust the dose, the timing, the delivery, and getting it right took a lot of iteration. First, she started me on 100 milligrams of progesterone, and I was taking it every other night. Progesterone can make you sleepy, and so she recommended I start out by taking it at night. So we did that for the first few months. It was really great until it wasn't. And then I started taking it every night, 100 milligrams. And that was really great for another couple months. But then I began traveling a lot, and taking the medication at different times really messed everything up again. So we had to adjust again. And then I started taking 100 milligrams twice a day to try to keep the levels consistent over a 24-hour period. But then the dose was too high. So this is all just to say that if you go down this path, you have to be prepared to be committed and patient with it, because it's a bit of trial and error to figure out what your body likes. Now we have landed on something that works really well for me, which is I take 100 milligrams, I take it in the morning, and I take it every day. So I think with hormone replacement therapy, people just think like, oh, I can just take this one pill, take it every day, and it's going to work. And when it doesn't, they can get really frustrated. So it's just a reminder, you need to find a good physician who is willing to work with you on this journey, because it's one that requires patience and consistency. For me personally, it's been just over a year now, and I'll say what I tell every friend who asks me about it, I feel like I'm in my 20s again. Like, I sleep deeply, my energy is back, my mind is sharp, and I just feel like myself again. And I didn't realize how long I'd been feeling like a dimmer version of myself until I started taking hormone replacement therapy and feeling like myself again. So that's the part that I have fixed, is like the brain fog, sleeping, mood, all of that. But the one part that is still in flux and I'm struggling with is my skin. So while my brain recovered pretty quickly once we got the hormones sorted out, like all the brain fog was gone and I began sleeping at night, my skin has been this whole other separate conversation, because perimenopause, and it just does a fucking number on your skin, and it's not talked about enough. You know, it's causing all of these internal hormonal shifts, which cause your barrier to be weakened. The skin can become oily and dry simultaneously, which sounds contradictory until you're living it, experiencing it, and it's like a whole clusterfuck nightmare. Like, my skin is sensitive, breakouts happen if I use anything too active because my skin's so fragile. It's just been the bane of my existence. But I'm getting it figured out. And let's see. And then, of course, not only is perimenopause doing a number on my skin, but adjusting the hormone replacement therapy doses, like, that does a whole number on my skin. Like, every few months when we had to adjust the dose, like, that would cause more breakouts, more melasma flare-ups. And so be prepared to go on a skin roller coaster while you're getting your hormone replacement therapy figured out. With all that being said, there are a few products that have been helping. One of them is SK2's facial treatment essence. So I actually used this product years ago and loved it. I just moved on because there were other new things, but I came back to it recently because I was trying to find something that was really lightweight but would deeply nourish the skin. What's really fascinating about this fermented essence is that what it does is the mechanism, the fermented patera complex, it helps to support your skin cells at the deeper level, really pushing them up from the bottom to encourage cell turnover, versus actives that sweep away the dead skin cells on the top, which can be very irritating for people who have reactive, fragile skin, such as myself, dealing with perimenopause. So I went back to that essence, and it's really helped to balance out my skin, really helped to gently encourage that cell turnover by giving the skin all the minerals and nutrients that it needs at a deep level so the skin cells can act more youthful. So in addition to that essence, I also have been using their facial treatment essence sheet masks, which are so good. My friends in Korea swear by these sheet masks. They're really expensive, but they are worth the investment. Like, they are soaked in an entire bottle of patera essence. And so every time that you use it, I'm telling you, I just like peel away the mask and my skin looks so bright and healthy. It's such a good one. Okay, so those are a couple of skincare recommendations. And if you guys have any questions about, your perimenopausal journey, make sure to talk to your doctor, but I'm happy to share any insights I can, that I've learned from my experience. So feel free to drop those in the comments. The symptoms that I described, the 3 a.m. wake-ups, the fog, the fatigue, the memory lapses, those are not you getting older and just having to accept it. They're not just anxiety or stress, even though I have heard from some girlfriends that some male doctors have tried to convince them that it's just anxiety or stress, but it's not. Like, these are hormonal, these are real, and they're often the first signals of a transition that our medical system and our culture have done a terrible job preparing women for. So I highly recommend finding a physician who takes hormone panels seriously, times them correctly, and ask about your progesterone specifically, and not just estrogen. And be willing to iterate and be patient as you test out and find a protocol that works for you. And stop suffering in silence. I think that's the biggest thing, because up until this point where I went to see my doctor, there had been an entire year prior to that where I was dealing with brain fog, poor sleep, and just not feeling like myself. And if this episode resonates at all, definitely like, rate, and review, and follow, and share it, because honestly, someone in your life probably needs to hear it too. All right, well, I'm Amy. Thanks for being with me, and this is Mirror Mirror. Talk soon. This is Mirror Mirror with Amy Chang. If you want more conversations like this, you can find the full episode on Apple, Spotify, or wherever you listen to podcasts, YouTube, and be sure to follow Mirror Mirror with Amy on Instagram for weekly reflections and double takes. Please don't forget to rate, review, follow, and subscribe to Mirror Mirror wherever you get your podcasts so you never miss an episode. Thanks for examining the world of beauty with me, your host, Amy Chang.